Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. What's up guys? Bang Imus lagi di sini. Nah, di video kali ini Bang Imus tuh mau sharing, mau ngobrol-ngobrol dengan mixed couple, Indonesian American, Indonesian Japanese, pokoknya mixed couple. Nah, kali ini Bang Imus beruntung nih ketemu couple baru pindah di State of Ohio. Nah, ini suaminya, Mr. John itu dari Amerika, ketemu jodoh dari Indonesia, Mbak Arti. Kita mau ngobrol-ngobrol, bagaimana sih ceritanya? We gonna talk about how they met and how they fall in love, cerita kisah cintanya gimana, nikah, dan poinnya, John juga become a Muslim. This is a very interesting story. Let's get down to business. Saya mau nyapa dulu. Assalamualaikum Mbak Arti.
Waalaikumsalam.
John, how you guys doing?
Yeah,
Good. Alhamdulillah ya. Before we talking, mungkin Mbak Arti bisa say hi dulu ke audiens saya nih atau memperkenalkan diri Mbak Arti nih.
Oke.
Ya.
Ya, hai, assalamualaikum. Saya Arti dari Cilacap, Jawa Tengah. Suami saya John, dia dari Denver,
Colorado.
Ya.
Jadi ketemu Mas John dulu, Mas John, say hi to the viewer.
Assalamualaikum.
No, you masih assalamualaikum, selamat siang.
Good
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Selamat siang.
Selamat siang. Okay, maybe I go with you first, right?
Okay.
It's gimana ketemunya? How you guys met?
Oke, kita ketemu itu di Singapura. Dia itu baru nyampe 2 hari terus jumpa aku. Kita ketemunya itu di dating apps, Badoo. Badoo, Tinder. And
Kinder or Tinder?
Tinder.
Tinder, T ya?
Yeah,
Okay,
Tinder.
okay.
Tinder is a dating apps, is very famous. Ya, itu terkenal banget di Singapura. Jadi, by the way, saya di Singapura 18 tahun sebelum jumpa dia.
By the way, how long you guys been married?
2 tahun.
2 tahun
Ya,
ya. Ini congratulations dulu nih. Selamat ya, masih face honeymoon nih ya.
Sudah over. Jadi setelah itu dia baru nyampe. Terus kita chat, kita match di Tinder. 2 hari setelah dia di Singapura, saya jumpa. Sebenarnya itu lucu. Karena tadinya sorry baby, I'm just being honest ya. Tadinya aku nggak mau jumpa dia sebenarnya, kayak 50-50 gitu. Karena dia bilangnya aneh. Dia bilang, ayo kita ketemu, saya bisa bikin kopi. Kita ketemu di Lalaven Cafeteria. Saya bisa bikin kopi yang enak. Punya, saya kiranya itu dia itu chef gitu. Jadi saya itu emang nggak suka dating sama chef karena saya Indonesian, kerja di Singapura, jadi kita free-nya itu cuma weekend, Saturday Sunday. Jadi kalau chef itu kan Saturday Sunday is the day they are making money. So mereka itu biasanya kalau weekend itu ngilang gitu. Jadi buat apa saya dating sama laki-laki yang kalau weekend itu nggak bisa sama saya, karena weekend saya kan itu hari yang free, kalau Monday to Friday kan kerja gitu. Jadi tadinya itu saya ngulur-ngulur waktu gitu, pas mau ketemu itu hari Minggunya itu dari pagi sebenarnya itu aku cuman tiduran aja di rumah, relax gitu. Tapi dia selalu SMS, dia SMS gini, jadi enggak gitu, datang enggak, maksudnya kita jadi ketemu enggak gitu. Aku waktu itu baru sembuh dari COVID. Jadi aku mikirnya, ini chef aku nggak mau nemuin. Cuman aku lama-lama sampai sore jam 3 gitu aku nggak enak karena dia selalu SMS gitu, selalu SMS datang.
Jadi dia yang ngebet ya?
Dia yang ngebet ketemu aku. Tadinya aku kayak 50-50 emang, aku udah nggak enak mau nolak gitu loh. Jadi aku jam 4-an gitu, aku izin ke anaknya bosku karena kan waktu itu aku masih kena COVID, jadi baru sembuh, takutnya kan nggak boleh keluar gitu karena kan kalau menjaga gitu ya virus gitu. Jadi habis itu aku bilang aku mau keluar sebentar dinner sama teman gitu. Terus Dia bilang, oke, no problem. Aku bilang, kan aku kena COVID. Gak apa-apa, sekarang semua Singapura itu 90% sudah terkena COVID. Jadi COVID itu semacam flu sekarang. Jadi kamu nggak usah takut. Kalau mau jumpa ya silakan pergi makan gitu. Enjoy your Sunday, this is your Sunday. So aku waktu itu masih kayak mau pergi nggak gitu. Akhirnya aku oke lah, aku naik taksi, book taksi, jumpa dia. Itu kafeteria udah tutup. Nah, aku kaget. Kan nanya, kamu tinggal di mana? Aku bilang gitu. Terus dia ngomong, aku tinggal di atas. Loh, berarti kamu mau jumpa aku di sini karena kamu baru nggak tahu tempat lain, makanya yang pilih tempat yang enak aja gitu, bikin dia nggak muter-muter gitu. Jadi dia milihnya itu di kafeteria di bawah rumah dia. Jadi,
nah waktu kan put profile di Tinder kan. Nah memang nyarinya orang bule ya.
ya karena emang sorry saja ya.
Maunya memang bule ya.
Nggak gitu.
Memang sukanya bule gitu ya.
Ya karena emang di Singapura itu rata-rata orang Indonesia, terutama yang udah lama-lama ya. Kita itu emang carinya yang bule karena kita udah open minded. Ya terus terang aja ya Pak ya, karena orang-orang Indonesia di Singapura itu udah pengalaman, yang udah lama-lama ya, terutama ya gitu ya. Mereka itu udah pengalaman, jadi mereka tuh mindsetnya tuh udah berubah, udah beda gitu. Jadi mereka itu nggak mau
sama orang Indonesia juga.
Nggak mau, bukan nggak mau orang Indonesia, nggak mau menikah sama orang yang nggak bisa ibaratnya kata synchronize sama mindset mereka gitu. Jadi saya pun juga, jadi saya udah open minded. Kalau kebanyakan orang Asia, aku nggak cuma ngomong orang Indonesia doang kan ya. Jadi orang Singapura aja yang lokal-lokal, mereka itu banyak yang narrow minded juga. Jadi kalau kita pengennya yang open minded. Nah, orang bule kan kebanyakan open minded. Mereka itu menerima kita apa adanya, nggak melihat status sosial, apa pendidikan, apa rupa gitu. Mereka itu kalau sudah suka ya suka gitu. Mereka itu nggak bisa di depan kita kayak oh I love you, I like you, tapi di belakang berkata lain gitu.
Okay.
Kebanyakan orang bule yang udah keluar dari negara mereka itu, mereka lebih menerima apa adanya kita gitu. Makanya
berapa lama put profile di Tinder sebelum ketemu dia?
Oh, aku emang udah lama main Tinder, main Badoo, karena sebelum dia pun aku sebenarnya udah punya cowok American juga. Itu kita putus karena COVID juga. Jadi aku kenal dia itu 2019. Dia dikirim ke Singapura, tapi karena COVID, terus dia balik ke US itu bulan November November tanggal 15. Jadi dia janji mau kembali ke Singapura itu Februari. Sorry ya baby, I'm just telling the
flashback.
Ya, the flashback, the real story, you know. Jadi dia janji ke saya mau pulang Singapura lagi itu bulan Februari. Jadi dia cuman balik 2 bulan 3 bulan gitu ke sini, tapi karena COVID dia got stuck. Nah, akhirnya selama itu kita LDR selama mungkin 4 bulanan gitu, 4 bulan 5 bulan. Tapi lama-lama aku nggak tahan juga, karena apa? LDR itu nggak
nyaman ya?
Nggak nyaman. Jadi kita pun harus punya kayak bener-bener kuat mental gitu. Jadi kalau yang nggak kuat, kita jadi berpikiran negatif juga, nggak tahu di sana dia ada cewek enggaknya gitu kan. Perempuan ya, kita punya jealousy juga ya. Jadi kadang-kadang aku juga mikir gitu.
Akhirnya putus.
Akhirnya aku yang ninggalin dia.
Jadi apa sih namanya Abang Thohir 40 purnama nggak pulang-pulang Bang. Sorry ya Bang ya. 4 purnama. Now I'm going to John here, John. So you know Arti through the apps, Tinder apps. How long you been in the apps before you actually match with her?
Oh no! It was actually the day after I got into Singapore.
What? So a day you get to Singapore, you decide yourself to upload the Tinder and then put the profile in there. So just actually very new, like not her. She already been in Tinder before.
Yeah.
And then you, what make you choose? I believe there's a lot of women in in the apps profile, right? But we choose Arti. What is so special?
So her profile pic, she had it taken at a Christmas party, and she had bunny ears on.
Okay,
And,
Oh my God.
it was something that
appealing, yeah.
it was. It's always nice to start off with somebody who's not taking themselves too seriously.
Ah, so kind of like funny picture, funny profile picture. That's what get you in there.
Yep.
So jadi guys, kalau mau taruh profile picture juga di apa platform mana aja, platform aja, make sure you have some kind of appealing. Jadi ini yang membuat does make John actually attractive to the profile picture before you even like I never use apps before the Tinder app. So how you do, like you just click it and send message like hi.
No, we need to match.
No, you have to
other.
match first.
Yeah. We need to match to each other before we can send the message.
So if he click you match, and if you do not click match, then you
No,
cannot.
so we can. Yeah.
Okay.
We need to click to each other to match because there's a love symbol. So if you click the love symbols,
Meaning that you match,
then means you match.
That-
Because if you match with somebody,
and he
they
don't.
give you the notification.
Notification. Okay. And you actually particularly looking for Indonesian woman or Asian woman. You have no idea what you get into in it. No.
So I'd actually been on Tinder a little bit before I left the United States, but here there are so many more men on the dating apps than there are women that it's very disheartening, and it's a much tougher scene. I get to Singapore and I turn on Tinder, and within the first day it was over 20 matches where I hadn't done anything, and all of a sudden I was getting in more and more matches, and
It's a lot of bule hunter in Asia. They call bule hunter in Asia like, I mean, that's what they say. I mean, in Indonesia, like, oh yeah, you bule hunter, which is, there's nothing wrong with it. Everyone have their own preference, right? Like,
Yeah.
I want a yellow skin or black skin, whatever. Is like here in America, a lot of people actually looking for exotic skin, like all these white people. They don't like white skin. They want to be dark. So that's actually nothing wrong with bule hunter or Asian hunter. So you have a lot of notification, 20 match with you, huh?
yeah, and so I was just like blown away. It's just like, what am I getting myself into here? And fortunately, not only was it a good match, but when she came over that first night, we ended up just talking back and forth, and it was just so easy to talk back and forth.
With her. Huh.
Actually, you know what? Actually, before me, he met
The different one.
yeah, he met one Filipino, and he met one Singaporean Chinese.
But you more talkative.
So I'm the third
Yeah,
woman, you know, but somehow he more
Attractive to you.
attractive to me
Because you talk a lot.
Yeah, I talk a lot.
Yeah, is that
I'm
right?
just-
Or you more, I'd say, social butterfly type of things? Like,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
yeah.
Because when I asked him, what make you choose me? He say, I want a woman that she knows what she wants. He said that I don't need a drama woman that too much of princess like. So I say, oh, sorry, I'm not that because I'm single mom. I'm grown up in foreign country from 16 years old, so I'm
Jadi Mbak Arti ini sudah merantau ya, berdikari menghidupi family long time.
Yeah.
Jadi like independent woman try
Yeah.
to make it living and provide for the family
Yeah.
in the foreign country, meaning that you have actually a strong
Yeah.
drive because you have responsible on you
Yeah.
for a woman to. Jadi kalau wanita perempuan keluar dari negaranya itu sangat luar biasa. Mereka
Yeah.
wanita yang kuat, strong woman because
Yeah.
they have a lot of behind them, so they have to be strong.
Yep, exactly.
So that's the point. Maybe he saw that on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what he saw in me. So ya, karena mungkin dia udah merasa udah tua gitu, jadi dia nggak mau menjaga perempuan, dia mau perempuan yang menjaga dia gitu. Sedangkan kebanyakan kan perempuan kadang-kadang mereka mau dijaga,
Minta dimanja.
ya minta dimanja gitu. Dia jadi
spoil.
dia kepengin sama perempuan yang mandiri gitu.
How long you guys dating? I mean, after the first met, then keep.
Oh, that's the funny one is that I keep telling him actually it was a testing for him. Kayak aku itu kayak ngetes dia. Selama baru kenal aku selalu ngomong I don't want to waste time. I want to get married. I'm not young anymore. I want to have my own so-called family, yeah. So I keep telling him about marriage life, But it's a testing for him because the fact is that I'm not really into married person because I already 40 years old, 39 when I met him.
And you already been married before.
He's been married. No, I'm not married.
Okay.
So after that, I keep telling him about married life. So after 1 month we together, and he said, "Well, since you are always talking about married, why don't we get engaged first and we talk married later?" I was like, seriously? Oh my God, what should I reply? It takes me and the whole night to
think about it,
think, to consider should I say yes or not, because he texts me. He don't.
Proposal actually through the text, huh?
He texts me. He text me and saying that. So he don't really propose to me like, let's get engaged or something like that. No, we don't. He just text me, and since you are talking about marriage, so why don't we get engaged first and we talk later. Then after that, I talk to my boss because my boss is like my own father. So I say, what do you think? This man wanted to be serious with me because he was worried that I will marry the wrong man because I've been with him for 18 years. So for him, I'm like his child. His only child, because even until today, he's still calling me, "Please, John, take care of my baby because I love her so much." And she's very stubborn. She blah, 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 but I know she have a good heart. Even until today. Yeah, so
Jadi
he said
sudah
yes.
direstui sama bos.
Yeah.
Jadi it took what 1 month so you guys decide to engage.
Ya, kita kenal sebulan, terus kita tunangan, abis tunangan terus 4 bulan kayaknya, 3-4 bulan terus kita nikah.
Tunangan di Singapura.
Di Singapura.
John, what get into you? Like what you see in her, then like usually American men, for my understand, they just want having fun and like don't want to be tight, and like 1 month is really actually fast. Like it's just a speedway. Like, so what you see in her, and like what makes you think, oh, this is the right one, this is the woman I want?
So one of the things that became very clear very early is my mother grew up in the Western United States, and she was growing up in the 50s and 60s, and her father had retired from the U.S. Air Force, moved their entire family to this little village in western Colorado, and they lived in kind of a hut on the western slope of Colorado where there's plenty of snow. Beautiful place, lots of green, but definitely can get very, very cold over there. And they actually had to use an outhouse. They did not have an indoor bathroom at that house. And so she grew up in American terms, a very primitive
Lifestyle, yeah.
And upbringing.
Yeah.
And then talking with Artie, her family ended up starting in essentially a glorified lean-to. They also ended up cooking on a wood-fired stove, which my mom had done growing up, and just how hard her childhood was in comparison to most Westerners, and then to have that like overlap with my mom so much, I just felt like they were kindred spirits, and there were other things that went into it, but like we mentioned before, I'd been married before, and so I knew firsthand what could happen to a marriage if there isn't proper chemistry there. And I had been out and being an adult long enough that I understood that this was a chemistry that I was not going to easily recreate with anyone else. And so I decided, like the song says, if you like it enough, you got to put a ring on it. And it shocked her. She was not expecting it. Even
Yeah.
though
1 month, like you, hey, want to marry me, engaged, like, and then 3 months after, then you guys get married.
Yeah, we got married in Singapore.
Oh, so engaged in Singapore and then get married in Singapore.
Yeah,
Okay.
our marriage is actually registered in ROM Singapore.
In Singapore.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you go to Indonesia too.
Yeah, and then we go back to Indonesia, and then I register in a chapel
In Indonesia.
in Indonesia. Then we got another marriage
Reception.
ceremony in
Ceremony.
KUA. Yeah,
Also, like back on your Cilacap.
Yeah.
Take him to Cilacap, introduce to your family,
Yeah.
and then like do all the paperwork, and
Yes,
then
yes.
do the reception in
Yep.
in KUA or
Yeah, yeah.
in the village.
yeah, in the village. We got kita nanggap origin juga di sana. Rame.
Just like regular Indonesian wedding.
Yeah, like regular Indonesian marriage.
People, you stand up in the front and people look at you,
Yeah, I
and you have to stand up whole day. Like,
We spend almost 60 million rupiah
for the wedding.
for the wedding in Indonesia. In Singapore, we spend almost 10,000 Sing dollars because we got.
Oh, you also have a reception in Singapore.
Oh yeah, we had twice in Singapore.
Singapore. All
Yeah.
your friend and your friend too.
No, all my friends.
Oh, because he's a new guy there, right?
Yeah, he's new guy.
Man, you just get there for 1 month and you already get wife.
Yeah, we got a wedding ceremony in Singapore, which is the first one was in restaurant, Chinese restaurant.
How hard is? I just wondering is how hard is the process, the paperwork in Singapore? Is that hard to get married in Singapore?
No, actually not that really hard.
No. Even you know a Singaporean citizen, this not that hard for you.
No,
to-
it's not that. For me, because I work in Singapore, I have to get approval from the MOM.
What MOM?
MOM is the Ministry of
Marriage?
Manpower.
Manpower.
Yeah,
oh.
in Singapore.
Like what in Indonesia? Like what?
Menteri Tenaga Kerja.
Menagi kerja.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
gitu.
Labor department. Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
You have to have a permission. Like they have to approve.
Yes,
and
yes,
then
we
you
had
can.
to get approval.
Okay, interesting.
So it takes about 3 weeks to get approval.
But your family go to Singapore for your wedding or no?
No, because my mom don't want to fly.
Yeah. And
She's scared of.
when they saw him the first time, what they thinking? Like, you work in Singapore back home and you bring men here and this white man, like what they?
Yeah,
Apa sih yang pikiran?
Actually, for me, I mean, for my people in my hometown, they are not surprised because my boss used to follow me go back to Indonesia every year, like once or twice every year. So they already seen a Chinese man in my place, in my home. So when they see another white man, they're just like, oh,
That's a regular thing.
that's regular thing, yeah. Because again, when you see normal thing, when you see something new, they think that is not normal. But if you see regular thing,
That's
then
normal.
It's just
yeah.
normal. It's like,
How about you, John? What you think about your Indonesian weddings? You went twice in Singapore and then go to Indonesia, and I'm sure it's different with American wedding.
Well, yeah, and we've had this discussion before. So here in the United States, the government gets involved in it but not that involved. And so when I did my original marriage, we just went into the county clerk's office, said we want a marriage license. The county clerk whips out the marriage license and says, "Do you? Yes. Do you? Yes. Sign here. Sign here. Congratulations. Give me my." Well, I think it was like $25, and you're married, and you're off, and you're going. Singapore, we had to show employment. We had to show legal presence in Singapore. I had to show my divorce decree, and the guy who was processing the paperwork apparently couldn't read and wasn't. He was about to say, "Well, I can't take this. It's not dated." I'm like, "What is that right there?" And had to point it out to him where the date was at, because whoever the clerk was here in America had typed it into a field that had other text near it.
That's
And,
your previous wedding
yeah,
marriage certificate. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, divorce
The,
certificate.
the divorce decree, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the level of scrutiny in Southeast Asia in almost any aspect of your life is enough to make somebody who's born and raised in America a little nervous. The fact that they have CCTV everywhere in Singapore. They have it in the lifts, in the elevators. They have it on pretty much any street corner. They've got it on all their public transit.
Every mall.
Everywhere in Singapore there are CCTV. The police department in Singapore is very proud of the fact that almost any crime in Singapore is solved in 2 days. And we don't mean like here in the U.S. where Barney the detective is like, "Oh, well, we've got some leads and we're following up on some information." No, in Singapore, they've already tracked the person all the way through all the CCTV from the point of the crime to where the guy walked back into his house, and they go knock on his door.
Yep.
And he's sitting in a jail cell in 2 days, not we've got a couple of leads. So there's some give and take, but yeah, the level of scrutiny in Singapore is much different than here in the U.S. And then it was kind of not quite the same thing in Indonesia, but it was definitely
In Indonesia,
more involved.
it's more relaxed compared to Singapore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also your the wedding in Indonesia, I believe, is a different style. In the
Oh, yeah.
you have to like dress up with traditional outfit.
Yes.
And then you stand up in front of the people the whole entire day and
Yeah.
people taking picture like
Yes,
picture
yes.
all day. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and plus we ended up doing my reversion ceremony, and we did a nikah at Karawang.
So you become Muslim before the nikah,
Yeah.
the procession of the.
Yeah.
the
Just
big-
actually is funny thing is that one day before, satu hari sebelum ijab kabul, dia belajar
Take sahada.
sahada.
Take sahada before the ijab kabul.
Ya.
And
So-
take the di KUA ya atau
Ya, di KUA.
masjid, di KUA.
Ya, di KUA.
Then the next day the wedding,
Ya.
wedding ceremony.
Ya, kita ijab kabulnya di KUA office.
And then the next day is the ceremony, like
Ya,
you wearing what is Jawa Tengah.
ya Jawa Tengah
Jawa Tengah
tradisional.
tradition black and
Ya,
Oh.
ada pakai keris gitu.
but-
Sebenarnya
and your head been paint black. Is that correct?
ya.
Okay.
So kita itu sebenarnya lucu karena aku pengennya milih kostum yang tertutup gitu, tapi dia enggak, dia maunya yang terbuka, sedangkan dia kan besar gitu ya, kalau terbuka kan jadi kelihatan besar lagi gitu, tapi karena dia suka ya gimana lagi gitu. Tapi ya beda perbedaannya nikah di Singapura sama di Indonesia itu karena di Singapura kan kita ROM ya, jadi
Foreigner lah
ya
ya.
foreigners, jadi terus beda lah pokoknya.
Kalau di Indonesia kan kampung sendiri ya.
Ya, kampung
Terus
sendiri.
banyak yang datang itu. Terus
Banyak
ada
yang
keyboard.
datang. Kalau di Singapura kita pestanya itu kan di restoran. Kita ambil 8 meja. Jadi satu meja itu 10 orang. Jadi
Jadi 80.
80 orang, sekitar 80 orang gitu. Itu pas yang di restoran. Itu semua tamuku karena kan dulu saya fotografer di Singapura. Jadi tamuku itu 90% itu fotografer semua Singaporean. Dan yang lainnya itu keluarganya bosku sama anak-anaknya sama beberapa temen cewek Indonesia.
Kalau di Indonesia satu kampung datang dong.
Ya, satu kampung. Di Indonesia satu kampung.
You have to smile all day.
Dia sampai capek duduk di depan itu nungguin tamu.
Nungguin tamu.
Yeah,
They don't do that in America like
No,
that. Like
they don't do that.
I'm tired. Like okay, let's do it. And okay, then that's you become a Muslim before you married, and then that's how that go. How and then that's your journey become learning to be a Muslim.
Yeah.
As a American Muslim. Right. And then from there you guys go back to balik ke Singapura lagi.
Ya, ke Singapura. Karena waktu itu dia masih kerja di Singapura, saya juga masih kerja di Singapura. Jadi kita di Indonesia itu cuman mungkin 3 minggu gitulah.
Tanggapan keluarga gimana? Suami mereka asik-asik aja ya menerima?
Alhamdulillah mereka asik. Awal-awal sih bapak dia agak berpikiran bagaimana.
His family come to Indonesia?
No.
Okay.
Dia. So karena bapak dia udah tua, udah how old is Papa now?
Paul? 87.
Ya, bapak dia udah 85 waktu itu, jadi udah tua lah. Lagian kita nggak mau trouble gitulah. Yang penting kita nikah. Abis itu kan kita bisa ketemu keluarga. Jadi makanya pas pindah ke sini, ya itu pertama aku jumpa bapak
keluarga
dia
mereka.
sama keluarga dia. Tapi alhamdulillah mereka bisa menerima gitu.
Jadi setelah nikah balik ke Singapura berapa lama lagi di sana?
1 tahun lebih.
Tahun lebih sebelum ke sini.
Sebelum ke sini.
Okay.
Jadi dia how long you been in Singapore like?
We were there
2 years?
almost 2 years.
Yeah, almost 2 years.
So basically you go to Singapore just to find wife,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, he said to his family, I flew all the way to Singapore
To find wife.
to get my wife.
And then come back here again.
Yeah. And then I flew all the way to the US here just to follow my husband.
Right. So apa suka dukanya sih nikah dengan orang Amerika? Apa suka dukanya?
Sukanya itu ya kan kita nggak, suami kan nggak, laki-laki nggak semuanya sama ya Pak ya. Jadi sukanya saya itu dia itu bertanggung jawab. Jadi setelah saya menikah sama dia itu secara ekonomi ya dia yang bertanggung jawab semuanya, kayak bayarin anak, supporting ponakan, kasih allowance ke mama saya, sampai mantan bosku aja yang di Singapura dia kasih gitu tiap bulan walaupun nggak banyak gitu. Jadi sukanya saya dia itu orangnya bertanggung jawab, nggak banyak omong, pokoknya dia itu nggak banyak omong tapi let's just do it gitu. Jadi
lakukan ya.
Ya, jadi dia itu let's stop, do more work.
Love language-nya itu mungkin doing ya.
Ya, jadi dia itu terus yang sukanya lagi dia itu orangnya very hardworking. Dia itu nggak punya kata duduk diam relax gitu, nggak. Dia selalu on the go gitu. Jadi selalu cari sesuatu yang bisa dilakukan. Dukanya itu ya mungkin karena kita kan beda culture ya, beda upbringing, beda tradisional gitu. Jadi kadang-kadang itu ya sebelum dia revert ya, sebelum dia masuk Islam itu kita tuh kadang-kadang beda pemikiran gitu. Jadi kalau ada sesuatu yang itu kok begitu, terus dia nanti ngomongnya begini, komennya begini, nanti saya komennya begini. Jadi kita itu kayak beda pendapat gitu. Tapi karena kita sudah niat ingsun ya, kalau orang Jawanya ngomong niat ingsun untuk hidup bersama, kita harus saling menerima kekurangan dan kelebihan masing-masing gitu.
Yeah, John, how about you? What is, I don't know how to put it in English. The what you call pro and cons. Pro cons marry with Indonesian or the people with the a different culture since you already you previous married also American, right? I
Yeah.
believe, yeah. So what the pro and cons? Like I just asked her what is bad and what is pro cons married with white guy or married American. On your personal
Honest
experience.
answer, okay? Honest answer, okay? No. No, blah blah. You need to tell the truth. What is the pro and the
Pro and cons married with
married with me?
Indonesian, especially with her.
So one of the big things is like we've been talking that when everything is said and done in terms of like my retirement, that I want to move back to Indonesia, and it's just with Indonesia. I grew up here in the United States back in the 70s and early 80s, and during that time period, there was still just a little bit of that you can kind of do what you want as long as you leave other people alone attitude that we've now lost in America. We've gotten so into each other's business. We're not at Singapore levels yet, but we're getting there. And I'm just tired of everyone being in everyone else's business. I get to Indonesia and I keep hearing about that, like, well, if you want to do this, we can do this with the house, or we can do that with the house, we can do this other thing with the house. And I'm like, well, what about like building permits, or what about local zoning? And she looks at me like I've got another head. And she's like, no, you own the property. You can do what you want to with the property. I'm like, that hasn't been part of American culture in a long time. And so I love that little edge of chaos that's part of Indonesian culture, where as long as you're not hurting somebody else, the government will leave you alone. And there's a lot of attraction to that. Of course, now that I've become Muslim, I have this urge to actually be able to hear the adhan over a loudspeaker in my neighborhood, and that's something you can't do here in the United States other than like up in Dearborn, Michigan. You can do it, but I'm not moving to Dearborn, Michigan not anytime soon. And that, and just being able to be around Muslims more, being part of a culture and a culture and a people that when it comes to things like celebrating Hari Raya, it's not kind of a celebration. It's they fill entire parks with people celebrating Hari Raya. It's like we were able to do Hari Raya in Singapore, and we were able to go to the Besar Malam, and she said, "This is fun and everything. This still is not nearly where you're at in Indonesia."
Oh yeah.
And it's like I really want to see that.
In Indonesia, everyone celebrate Hari Raya. Everyone going back to their hometown to celebrate with the family. That's the good thing about
The culture.
the culture in Indonesia, of Muslim Indonesia.
And you, for you being a new Muslim, what challenge actually you see you're facing through your experience becoming a Muslim, and what is the challenge there?
The biggest thing for me was learning the prayers. It didn't take me very long to fall into praying 5 times a day. That was a pretty natural
And the fasting.
thing. Yeah, and then was it 3 months in, I hit my first Ramadan, and I am a absolute coffee addict, and so I spent the entire first 2 weeks of Ramadan sitting at my desk because I was working from home in Singapore, sitting at my desk in our apartment, and I continually was reaching for this phantom coffee cup that had always been there, had always been my friend, has always been my refuge. It's like I need more energy, and there would be my coffee cup, and instead I wasn't eating or drinking anything, including coffee. I actually had to take. I actually took caffeine supplements to make sure I didn't go through the hard withdrawal while I was doing that, and I did that again this year. So it's something that I take. I take it very seriously, but I try to make it less painful.
Yeah, especially first week of Ramadan, that's tough. That's tough. Even me here in America,
Yeah.
first week is tough. You don't get your body not get used to with that. No coffee in the morning, and you have a lot of stuff to do. You become grumpy, and you have less sleep because you like pray night time and you get up. No coffee. It's a challenge. But after a couple of weeks, then your body get used to it. It's getting much easier all the
Yeah,
time.
even in Singapore for my first Ramadan, after 2 weeks I was okay. This year, actually, after my first week, I was okay. I wasn't hurting quite as much. You do have the thing where, as you keep getting deeper and deeper into Ramadan, the sleep deprivation starts getting more and more because I'm trying to go to the night prayers, and some of those get further extended, and then
Longer. Yeah.
I was like trying to go from doing the 8 rakat night prayers to doing the full 18 rakat night prayers. So there were a few more nights there where I had a little more sleep deprivation, and then of course you have to be up for
for sahur.
suhoor.
So yeah, that's kind of quite challenge. How about the support from the community? Like, do you have any issue or challenge support from people around you about learning about this Islam and stuff?
So when we were in Singapore, actually before we even got to Singapore, we were just heading back to Singapore. We were in at the Yogyakarta airport, and they have a masjid that was actually built before the airport was, so that all the workers would have a place to pray while they were building the airport. So they had this masjid that was there on the grounds of the
Actually, it's a
airport.
very beautiful masjid in Jogja.
Jogja, okay.
Yeah. And so we were there. It was the
Fajr.
middle of the night. It was like we got there at like 2:00 in the morning, and we were just sitting around. We couldn't sleep. So it came around 3:00 in the morning. She's like, "Well, you should just go pray tahajjud." And so I went in and I did my wudu. I put on my sarong. I take being an Indonesian Muslim very seriously, and I wear a batik on Friday, and at least in Singapore, I'd actually wear sarong to the masjid
Ah,
Yeah.
for that. So and I've got my sangkat and all of the other little.
So when he was
Jesus.
praying in the masjid at Jogja, the imam noticed him.
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
happened?
and so the imam that was there, he came in to pray Fajr, and I was easily a good head and shoulders
Right.
taller than anyone else in the masjid.
Yeah.
And he'd actually worked for an American company, so his English was pretty good.
Yeah.
And he stopped me on the way out, and he's like, "Guessing you're not from around here, given your size," because he really didn't notice my face that much. He just saw how much bigger I was than everyone else, and so he stopped me, and we had a good talk. And he actually reached out to MCAS, which is the Muslim Converts Association of Singapore. So by the time we got to Singapore, that word had already gotten through, and they reached out. And I actually got a chance to meet Hafiz, who was the teacher for their Muslim 1 or Learn to Pray class. And so I actually had a chance to go in, learn from them
Yeah.
more the Malay way of doing salat.
Yeah.
And so I've got
That's very good.
still got all the books, and started down the whole line of learning how to pronounce.
And actually, he had to take another Sahara in Singapore.
Singapore.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yes, I did.
so he have two certificate. One from Indonesia,
one
from Singapore. Yeah.
Okay, now the closing part we are here. Arti, if what is your pesan ke teman-teman Indonesia, apalagi wanita-wanita Indonesia,
Ya.
mungkin yang mau nikah sama orang Amerika, orang putih, orang bule atau apa?
Oke.
What is your advice and
Oke.
what's not?
Pesan saya, advice saya itu kalau mau ibaratnya kalau mau menikah sama orang luar itu kita harus punya prinsip. Jadi kita itu harus berprinsip bahwa kita itu orang Indonesia, punya tradisi sendiri, punya keyakinan sendiri, punya prinsip sendiri. Jadi kita jangan terbawa dengan just mentang-mentang kita nikah sama orang bule terus kita terbawa sama prinsip mereka, sama tradisi mereka. Itu jangan. Kalau bisa gitu jangan, karena orang bule itu lebih akan menghargai kita kalau kita itu punya prinsip sendiri. Jadi saya personal ya, saya sendiri gitu, saya punya prinsip sendiri walaupun saya menikah sama orang bule, tapi saya tetap diehard Indonesian, saya tetap Indonesia. Jadi saya masih memegang teguh dengan kepercayaan dan tradisi orang Indonesia. Jadi walaupun saya hidup di Amerika, tetap saya masih punya ibaratnya apa yang kita harus perbuat dan apa yang kita harus tidak perbuat, karena itu yang akan membangun diri kita sendiri gitu. Jadi walaupun kita punya suami bule, kita jangan terlarut dengan budaya mereka, karena tidak semua budaya orang bule itu membangun diri kita untuk lebih baik gitu. Jadi kita harus punya prinsip sendiri, itu pokoknya itu.
Jadi masih banyak juga bule-bule baik yang mau jadi muslim di luar sana.
Ya itu. Jadi kalau kita punya prinsip sendiri, kita punya keyakinan sendiri, itu malah suami itu, orang bule itu kan karena mereka tuh rata-rata dari lahir itu nggak punya Tuhan. Jadi bukan nggak punya Tuhan, tapi kepercayaan mereka kepada Tuhan itu sangat kecil gitu, sangat nggak kayak orang Indonesia. Orang Indonesia kita emang dari kecil sudah dididik harus percaya sama Tuhan gitu. Jadi kalau kita memegang teguh dengan prinsip kita sendiri, keyakinan sendiri, itu suami malah akan mengikuti keyakinan kita. Karena kata pepatah bilang, kita nggak bisa merubah seseorang, kita nggak bisa merubah suami. Perempuan itu nggak bisa merubah laki-laki. Kalau laki-laki itu benar-benar mencintai itu perempuan, dia akan berubah dengan sendirinya. Gitu. Jadi prinsip saya ya begitu.
Oke guys, itu ya pesan-pesan. Jadi tetap semangat yang belum punya jodoh di sana, masih banyak laki-laki baik. How about you, John? What is your advice for the new Muslim convert, and especially like if you mixed couple type of things for people out there?
So I won't say that everyone will be able to do this, but I think that for Artie and I, Allah is the best of planners, and when we found the opportunity to come back to the United States, I didn't go back to the state I was used to living in Colorado, and we came to Ohio, into the Columbus area, which fortunately has a very strong Muslim community, and you most resemble the 5 people you most hang out with, that you most associate with. So if I had ended up back in Colorado, I would have potentially ended up going back to meeting people that I was used to meeting back then, when I was drinking beer and eating pepperoni pizza and doing all these things that are now haram for me, that I'm now, we both started at square one, moving into a completely different neighborhood, different city, and it made it to where instead of it being, well, I'm home and now you've got to learn how to do this, to we were both thrown in, and it's like we both have to learn how to do this, and it made it to where we were the team, not me versus her, or my culture and my background versus her. So I think that was an important thing for us, is to, and like I said, I don't know if anyone else will be able to really do it the same way, but I would highly recommend it, especially if you're coming back, if you went overseas and you're coming back into the United States, and you're a new Muslim, try to stay away from your old life because you've got too many other associations, too many things that are now haram for you, and just not having them there is easier than trying to build up enough willpower to not partake of those things.
Right. Jadi guys, itu pesan-pesan Mr. John, Anda yang is a Muslim, dan juga dari Mbak Arti, bagaimana mendapatkan suami dari negara lain, dari bule, tapi tetap masih mempertahankan jati diri dan keyakinan diri. Jadi you don't have to change. Cinta itu kan universal. Segitu dulu video kita kali ini guys. Jangan lupa yang baru nonton sama video ini, like and subscribe. Ketemu lagi di video Bang Imus selanjutnya. Ciao for now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum.